Hi folks, thanks for joining me here. This is a difficult time and things change rapidly. Plus, let me just say, I am in my basement. My kids are home, the dog is upstairs, so if you hear things, this is life. And in my practice, I'm human. So that's actually a really good thing, that you can see that you can practice wherever it is that you need to be. As long as you have a little chunk of time and enough space for your mat, things can go on around you and you can still practice. It's okay to do that. It's okay to rest sometimes. And yoga as a practice can be very restful. To that end, the practice that I'd like to offer to you today is it's a calming practice. I have to say, I was just outside for hours cutting down a tree. It's not done yet. It's actually right outside the window that's over to my left. So if I point over there, that's why. I got the biggest branches down. I got the biggest, there's 4 separate trunks. The point is that I need a calming flow just as much as you might. So feel free during the practice to pause it, to rewind it, to see what's going on. Watch as many times as you like, practice it as many times as you like. And if you have any questions, please do contact me. Don't hesitate to do that. I'm happy to answer your questions. All right. So the other thing I wanted to say before we begin is that throughout the practice, keep hold of your breath. By keep hold of, I mean keep that thread, a continuous thread. Keep your Ujjayi breath, that nice, rich, soft, strong breath, moving. If you find that you're gasping, if you find that you can't keep up with the practice while keeping your breath going in a nice, strong, steady flow, then opt to choose your breath. Always. Your breath is the practice. All of the shapes that you make are secondary. So the shapes that I make and the shapes that you make are going to look different because we're different people. We have different bodies. The shapes I make today are going to look different tomorrow because I'm a different person tomorrow. The point here, don't worry about your practice. Be there on your mat with your breath. Make the shapes that your body is willing to give you and enjoy your practice. All that said, we're going to start in child's pose. I will talk through the practice so your breath and my breath may not be exactly the same. So spread your fingers nice and wide on the mat. Spread your knees nice and wide, big toes touch behind you. Sink your hips back and down and bring the center of your forehead down onto the mat. So right here, begin to cultivate that Ujjayi breath. That nice, soft, strong, rich breath. And if you'd like to set an intention for your practice, go ahead and do that right while you're in child's pose here. The simple act of breathing slowly and intentionally starts to calm you already. Take one more breath right here in your child's pose. And then make your way up to all fours. Don't feel shy to look at yourself while you're in your practice. That is a way for you to help learn where you are in space, your proprioception. So your wrists are right below your shoulders, your knees are right below your hips. And we're going to move through some cat-cows. Cow as you inhale, drop your belly, lift your chin and your tailbone. And then cat with your exhale, round your back like a mad cat. Cow with your inhale. Cat with your exhale. Move through a few more of those. If one feels particularly nice, like you need to stay in it, feel free. If you need to add some organic movements to your flow, go ahead and do that. I love in my cow to just wiggle my hips a little bit back and forth. And then in my cat to just bend my elbows a little bit and reach back with my hips. Take 2 more cycles right here. Last one. Come to a nice long neutral spine. Really tuck your core, your belly in. So at this point, just tuck your lower ribs together. And we're going to thread the needle right here. So lift your right hand up towards the ceiling and then bring it down and through. Come all the way down onto that right shoulder if you can, and the right side of your face. You can reach the left fingers forward. You can bring that hand to your lower back, or you can work towards a bind. Notice that you get a different stretch on either shoulder in this pose. Keep your breath moving. Nice and steady. One more breath in. Let it go. Make your way back up to all fours. Stretch that right arm up first. Place it back down on the mat. Switch sides. Left arm raises up high and then thread the needle. Bring it down and through. If you like a different arm variation for the second side, by all means, take a different arm variation. You don't have to be the same side to side. One breath in, big breath out. Make your way back up to all fours. First, stretch that left arm high. Place it back down on the mat. And find your first down dog. Tuck your toes, lift your hips. Pedal your feet if you'd like to pedal your feet. If you like stillness, be still. Since this is a calming flow, really focus on grounding. That is to say, everything that's touching the mat, really feel that. Your fingers spread nice and wide, so your hands press down. And then your toes, maybe your heels don't reach the mat. Your toes really support you. If your heels do reach the mat, that's fine. If they don't, no problem. The idea here is to find a nice long spine from your fingers through your tailbone, a nice long line. So if you need to bend your knees and lift your heels like this, then go ahead and do that. Breath in. Breath out. You'll see I'm swaying a little bit. I like to do a little bit of movement when I first come into my down dog. If this doesn't fit you, then find what does. Make this your practice. One more breath in here. Let it all the way out. Then start to walk your feet forward, tippy toe forward for ragdoll. Come to about the center of your mat. Feet are hip distance, so 2 fists can fit between your feet. Maybe you like yours a little wider. Knees are nice and soft so that your chest drapes down onto your belly. Your thighs. Arms can dangle like this, or you can take opposite elbows. If you like, you can sway. Again, focusing on grounding and therefore calming. The centers of your heels press down, and you have an even distribution among your feet. So the big toe mounts, the baby toe mounts, both press nice and evenly into the mat. Come to stillness if you're swaying. Drop your hands down. Toe heel your feet together. And rise to extended mountain. Reach all the way up. You can come up slowly. Reach high. Bring your hands to heart center. I'm going to face the camera for the moment so that you can see what I'm doing. Inhale, reach up. Take your right wrist and then lean over to the side. So you're stretching that side body here. Try not to dump forward or back with the shoulder. Stay in a nice plane of motion. When we get stressed, when we get anxious, we tend to protect our torso. So when we start to open up our side body, it feels really nice. Come back to center with an inhale. Switch sides. Inhale, reach up, and then bend over to your side. Breath in. Breath out. Nice big inhale. Nice big exhale. Come back to center. Bring your hands to your heart. Pause here for a moment. Now bring your arms wide. Step your feet wide apart. So you have about one leg length distance between your feet. Point your right toes out to the side. The back toes, the left toes point straight away from you. We're going to move into triangle pose. So pull up on your quadriceps, engage your core muscles, reach out, and then down. So remember that side bend. We were in one plane of motion. Same thing here. As a matter of fact, this is a fantastic place to use a block to support yourself. This is a very grounding pose, so really feel your feet just press down into the earth so that you could reach up with the top hand. Breath in, breath out. Pull yourself up to standing. Switch sides. So bring your right toes in and your left toes out. About one leg length distance. If you need to change your leg length, then by all means do that. Inhale, exhale, reach forward and then down into your triangle. Notice whether you're jumping forward or not. Try to roll open with your chest. I actually put my hand on my rib cage here, and I do that sometimes in my personal practice. I roll open so that I can reach up, so that I can expand as I ground down. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Pull yourself up to standing with an inhale. Turn those left toes in. I'm going to grab the other block for a moment. Now I want you to bring your heels a little wider than your toes, so you're a little bit pigeon-toed. We're going to do a wide leg standing forward bend. I'll put the blocks down here. You'll see if how I use them in a moment. Bring your hands to your waist. Inhale, lift your chest up and back. Pull up on your quadriceps and engage your core muscles, and then fold forward and down right at your hip creases. So you have a nice long spine here. If you want, you can support yourself on the blocks. Or if you can go a little lower, bring your hands down to the mat. If you like to come even lower, go as far down as you like. But try not to sacrifice the length of your spine in order to get further towards the floor. When you're down here, try to tuck your chin under and lengthen the back of your neck. That helps the rest and digest, the parasympathetic nervous system to engage, and so it's very relaxing. Keep your heels down on the mat, but shift your weight ever so slightly towards your toes. It feels a little risky, but keep that chin tucked under, and know that you're supported fully by the earth beneath you. Breath in, breath out. If you're not yet there, make your way up to your hands. I take my time on my way up. It helps to equilibrate the blood pressure. Bring your hands to your waist and hover here for a moment. Really feel your feet ground down. The crown of your head goes straight forward, your tailbone goes straight back. Inhale your way up to standing, and then move your heels in and your toes out. I'll move these out to the side so that you can see what's going on here. We're going to move into goddess. So again, heels in, toes out. You can cactus your arms, or if that's not comfortable for your shoulders, you can bring your hands to heart center, or you can take a mudra. I like this one. So you can squat right down, knees just about over your ankles. If you like, from here, come up onto your toes. If you choose that and you find it's not right, feel free to change it. If you choose an arm variation and you find it's not right, feel free to change it. This is a really empowering pose. When you squat down like this, it's really empowering. If you feel like you can't balance, pull in those quadriceps, tuck in that core. Because you got it. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. One more inhale. Bring your heels down with an exhale. Starfish your way up and open. And then step your feet together. We're going to move into chair. So arms up. Chair is Utkatasana. And chair is not charitable. It sounds so easy. It sounds so comfy. Chair really translates as fierce pose or awkward pose. So it's as if you're sitting down into a chair. But yeah, it takes a lot of fierceness. Yes. So your weight is in your heels, your toes are light. Tuck your tailbone under. Did you see what I just did there? When you tuck your lower ribs in together in the front, your tailbone tucks under a little bit. Sink low. And then lower. And then really, really low. And then come down, bump down into boat. Navasana, one of my favorite poses. I'm going to scoot forward just a little bit. And if you've come to my classes, you know why. The first time I started practicing, I used a VHS tape. And when Navasana came up on the practice, I saw the person doing the practice do this pose, and I thought it was absolutely impossible. I thought there is never any way in my life that I would ever be able to do boat pose. Really open up across your chest. Breath in. Cross your feet at the ankles, hands down next to your hips. Lift yourself off the floor. You don't have to catch any air. Come all the way down. And then we're going to move into bridge. So feet are 2 fist distance. Scoot your hips down. And then lie on your back. Now we're not going to do a full bridge at first. We're going to do a half bridge. I want you to keep your feet grounded down. Centers of your heels, big toe mounts, baby toe mounts. Push into your feet, lift your hips up. That's as far as you go. So your shoulder blades stay on the mat. And there's a nice long line from your knees through your shoulder blades. From here, if you like, you can bring your arms overhead and then cat tilt your way down. Remember cat where you rounded your back? It's the same thing. Round your back. And so one vertebrae at a time, your spine comes down onto the mat. Nice and slow. Finally, your sacrum comes flat. Arms by your sides. Now we'll move into another bridge, a full bridge. So lift your hips up. Now you can stay in this half bridge if you like, or if you want to move a little deeper into the pose, you can roll your shoulders together underneath you and clasp your hands if that's available, if it's comfortable. Again, press evenly into both feet, centers of your heels, big toe mounts, baby toe mounts. We tend to roll onto our outer edges of our feet in this one, so really think about those big toe mounts. Inhale, come all the way down. Take a breath. Let it out. And we'll do one more. You can choose that half bridge. You can go deeper if you like. If wheel's in your practice and you're feeling warm enough for it, by all means. But this is a pretty gentle, calming practice, and wheel is kind of activating. So I'm just going to show you bridge. This is a heart opener. It's not as much well, it is a back bend, but we bend our back in order to open our heart. Deep breath in, and make your way all the way down. Rest in Supta Baddha Konasana. Place the soles of your feet together. One hand goes on your belly, the other one on your heart. If you're comfortable, go ahead and close your eyes. And with my theme of grounding, really feel everything that's touching the mat at this point. So you can either start at your head or at your feet. I like to start at my feet. The outer edges of both feet press down. And then even though my knees are lifted, my hips are down. My spine is long on the mat. My tailbone is reaching down. And then all the way up to my shoulders. I can really feel those in the upper arms that rest right on the mat. And then finally, this back center of my head. Just press this down. Just feel that right against the mat, right against the earth, the support that's beneath you all the time. Breath in. Breath out. Bring your knees together, hug them in. We're going to do an inversion. Waterfall's a great one. A block is super duper handy for this one. If you don't have a block, you can always just move it to legs up the wall. You can do the legs against the wall, or just reach your legs up towards the ceiling. But if you like a waterfall, a little bit more of an inversion, put that block under your hips. If you don't have a block, you can use some books. My kids have some cardboard blocks that are really handy for this. And then reach your feet up towards the ceiling. So I like to say with this one, it's like you're flipping the script, right? You have a different perspective. You're still grounded even though your feet are above your head. So don't forget to feel everything that's right there on the mat. And keep your breath moving. I like to sort of point my toes but pull my toes, point my feet but pull my toes back. A lot of times people will like to really engage their legs. Feel free to do what's right for you. If you need something even more relaxing, just let your legs be. Just let your legs relax in this pose. This is totally relaxing, I have to say. If you want to stay in this pose for a little longer, feel free to pause the video, stay as long as you want. It is very, very relaxing, whether you're at the wall or not. So feel free. You know, this is your practice. Make it the way you need it to be. Since I'm recording this, I'm going to just stay in here for another couple of breaths, and then we'll move on. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Make your way out. Lie in a Supta Baddha Konasana again, just for a moment. Bring your knees into your chest. Rock yourself up to seated. And lengthen your legs in front of you. If you have a little extra flesh under your sit bones, feel free to move it out of the way. So we're going to do a seated forward bend. If you keep your feet just relaxed, you have length in the backs of your legs. But watch this. If I move my heel away from me and pull the toes back, look at how much more length I have in the back of my legs. So do that. Keep your legs nice and active. Inhale, reach up, and then fold. It doesn't matter how far down you go. If you like here, you can use a strap, a belt, a towel, a scarf, whatever you like, around your feet. And when you do that, you can just sort of use the strap as a way to lengthen your arms so that you can just reach. So the idea is to reach the center of your chest forward and the crown of your head forward. So this is about lengthening the entire back side of your body. It's not really about the hamstrings. It's about the entire back side of your body, from your heels up through the crown of your head. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Make your way back up to seated. Roll down onto your back. Lying on your back. Both knees in. Take a breath in. Keep both shoulders supine twist. Drop both knees over to the right hand side. You can shift your gaze over to the left if you like. If you want a different leg variation, feel free. You might want to bind one leg behind you. You might want eagle legs. Whatever works for you, that's what you should do. Right? Nice deep breath. Come back to center, through center, to the second side. And again, any leg variation that works for you, that's what you do. One more way to twist and lengthen the side body. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Bring yourself back to center. Hug both knees into your chest. Bring your forehead up to meet your knees. Roll yourself up into a little teeny tiny ball. Take a deep breath in right here. And Shavasana with an exhale. Shavasana is final rest, final relaxation. It's a pose, so make sure you set yourself up so that you can just rest. Your breath begins to normalize here. Scan yourself from your toes up through the tip of your head and see if there's anywhere you're holding tension and just melt down into the mat. If you like, you can pause the video here, stay as long as you need to in your Shavasana until you feel complete, until you feel ready to move on to the next part of your life, until you feel ready to move on to take your practice on the mat and make it your practice off the mat. When you're ready, start to bring some movement to your fingers, to your toes, to your wrists, and to your ankles. Bend your knees, place both feet on the mat. Gently roll to your side. I'm rolling on my left side simply because the camera's over there. You can roll to either side as you feel comfortable. I like to pause in this position and really feel one last moment of support, one last moment of grounding before I go ahead and move on with my day. And push yourself up to a seat, whatever's a comfortable position for you. And bring your hands to heart center. The light in me sees, recognizes, honors, and rejoices in the light in each one of you. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you've enjoyed the practice. Again, any questions, please let me know. I'd be happy to answer whatever I can.